Such good fun. Okay. So getting yourself nice and comfortable. I recommend sitting up, but you can of course lie down, spine straight. It's the only thing to be sure of. And we're going to be doing a breath practice with the spine today. So let's let ourselves have the time to settle. We don't need to demand of ourselves that everything is immediate and instant. We can take our time. So you're going to feel your sitting bones on the floor. It's quite interesting to recognize that usually one side of your body is more dominant than the other. And almost as if you imagine the body is full of fluid, and so as to take a bottle that's sort of half full, and you move the bottle over to one side and all the fluid moves to that side. And then you move the bottle over the other side and the fluid all moves to that way. I feel it's very similar with our presence in our body. It's very much, it can be very much leaning on one side more than the other. You kind of need to shuffle yourself over on a subtle level. You need to move yourself over so that you are whole and full within your body. I don't know if those words adequately describe what I'm trying to articulate. Almost like little pockets of us have our presence and other parts of us are slightly empty. We're trying to expand to fill every cell, every part of us. And that's what we're going to do with our practice today. So you're going to be breathing in and out through the nose. The tongue is gently pressing up into the roof of the mouth. And there is a quality of softness and kindness that we're bringing to our practice. As always, the way that we're doing it is exactly the way that it should be done in this moment. No right, no wrong. And really we're just creating space for self-awareness, self-kindness, and love, which is our essence, our truth, beneath all the layers of every other description we would put to define ourselves. Truly we are just love. So we're coming back to that place as we practice. And in your spine, there is so the spine clearly is the midline of the body. It's the primal streak of the body. And within the spine is a channel of fluid. And this fluid is curious because there are remnants of the fluid from your days as an embryo within your mother in the spine. There are traces of your mother's fluid in your spine. So if you ever needed confirmation that we are inextricably linked to our lineage, of course there is the fact that the egg that you began as was in your mother when she was in her mother. So you have a chain of presence. You were present in your grandmother's womb. But you also still have this fluid that comes from your embryonic stages within your mother. So let that be the framework for which you see your life and your existence and the work that you're doing on yourself. And if you have children, they have your fluid in their spine. Almost like we're holding hands with the generations. Interestingly, within every cell, which is primarily fluid, the cell has a membrane, and what the cell needs comes in through the membrane, and what the cell doesn't need goes out through the membrane. Permeable membrane. But they have shown through science that this this circumference of the watery fluid within the membrane, where the transition happens between what we need and what we don't need. The activating ingredient on that fluid to allow that process to happen is light. There is a minuscule circle of light within every cell around the edge, and the degree to how much light there is there dictates the ability to absorb what's needed and remove what's not. So there's fluid and there's light. And so when we talk about these, we do these practices of breath and visualizing light and visualizing the fluid body, we really are just stepping out of a three-dimensional world where we rely on what we can physically see and going into a multi-dimensional world where our intelligence knows truth that cannot be seen. Okay, so breathing deeply in and out through the nose. And somehow the minutiae, whatever that word is, the details of the day, of our relationships, of our job list, they just melt when you're aware that the truth is you are a being of fluid and light, constantly transmuting, alchemizing, taking nutrients, removing toxins, and expanding in love. Add to that the fact that every single atom of your body has been here for eternity. You are not made of any substance that hasn't been here for eternity. We don't get new minerals. We don't get new compounds. It is literally recycled to make us constantly, and to make the sand in the deserts, the mountains, in the Alps, the snowflakes, the fish in the sea. The same compounds recycled again and again and again. How would it be possible to be an individual separate from the whole? It just isn't. We're going to start to direct that breath as you inhale through the nose, allowing the inhale to travel all the way down to the depths of the pelvis. And as you exhale, allowing that breath, that light, to travel up through the spine to the crown of your head. A very simple visualization. Inhaling to the tailbone, to the perineum. Exhaling up to the crown of your head. Starting gently. And letting the breath become fuller as we focus all of ourselves, all of our awareness to the fluid and the light that travels on the inhale to the deepest part of the pelvis, and on the exhale to the crown of your head. Single pointed focus, inhaling breath down to the tailbone, feeling the movement of light, exhaling to the crown of your head, all the way up through the spine, behind the heart, up through the throat, up the back of the head to the crown. Inhaling down to the pelvis, the deepest part, the well within the pelvis. Exhaling up to the crown of the head. Deep, deep breath. Breathing fully in and breathing fully out. Maybe on the next inhale you can explore even deeper into the pelvis, seeking out pockets of darkness and bringing light into the pelvis. And as you exhale, letting that light travel up through the spine, almost like a runway, a motorway, when you're flying in from abroad and you look down and you see these passages of light, the network of light that are the roads. This is the road, the spine, as you exhale up through the spine to the crown of the head, coming all the way up above the head, 12 inches above, with the end of your auric field, and then inhaling right the way down to the pelvis. And maybe these roads, these passageways, these channels aren't straight. Maybe they move, maybe they wriggle. Let yourself lean into, trust the visual that comes to you or that you imagine as you practice. Inhaling down to the pelvis. Exhaling up to the space above the crown of the head. Trusting your instinct. Trusting your response. Allowing yourself to own your practice. Any movement required, let that movement flow. Hold the visualization, let it stream through you, inhaling to the pelvis, full breaths, exhaling to the space above the crown, full breath. The pull and push, just like a tidal current, the ocean. Pressing down as you inhale and pulling up as you exhale. Flushing through inertia, bringing vitality, aliveness to the cells of your body. to the pelvis. Fully exhaling to the crown of your head. Sensing, feeling, visualizing, imagining the movement of light as you breathe a full breath. Taking a deep breath in and holding with lungs full, allowing that light to expand within you as you hold your breath. Maybe your chin tucks, maybe your pelvic floor lifts. When you're ready, continuing with the exhale. Exhaling light to the crown of your head. Inhaling light to the pelvis. Channels of light within the spine. Flushing through. Subtle energy dancing with the breath. Breathing fully in, right the way down to the pelvis. Breathing fully out to the space above the crown of the head. These are ancient practices supercharging the subtle energy of the body. Very powerful, very deliberate, threading of breath and light. Five more minutes breathing into the pelvis. Breathing out to the space above the crown of your head. Allowing your visual, allowing any movement, allowing it to be your practice, your interpretation of a practice that is thousands of years old. Next, inhale, we're going to take the light into the pelvis, into the entire pelvic bowl. And with the lungs full, we're going to hold. So inhaling, drawing light to the pelvis. Fill the entire space of the pelvic bowl with light. Engage Mula Bandha and hold. Releasing when you're ready. Smooth, deep, full breaths. Now we're going to come to the center of the navel. So feel into yourself where that is. I don't believe it's the same in everyone. Where is the center of your navel? Visualize that. Take the next inhale. Draw light to the center of your navel. And hold, letting that light expand in the vacuum you've created. Nothing forced. When you're ready, exhale. Smooth, full breaths. Next, we're going to travel to the space of the sternum. So I like to think that this is the liver, the pancreas. It's just beneath the diaphragm. Sometimes these places are easy to find with your sense, your feeling, your imagination. Other times they're less so, but you can always just visualize. So taking a full inhale, breathing fully in, bringing light to the space of the sternum and holding, engaging Mula Bandha. And releasing when you're ready. Fluid, deep breaths. And the next inhale, we're going to take to the heart center. So right behind the chest plate, the breastplate, deep within the center of the heart. The heart rests right in the middle, very slightly over to the left, minuscule amount to the left. It's about the size of your fist. It's nestled within the diaphragm and the lungs, connected through layers of membrane, sheaths of connective tissue. So next inhale, drawing into the very center of your heart, pinpoint it, bring all that light in and hold Mula Bandha, hold your breath, allow the light to infuse to every cell. Holding for as long as it's comfortable for you. There's no timer, there's no right or wrong. And then dropping back into the full breaths. Rinsing through the chakra system with light and with breath. Next, we're going to come to the throat. Come to the pit of the throat. On your next inhale, drawing light, drawing breath into the pit of your throat. And then holding Mula Bandha engaged, chin gently dropped, holding your breath, expanding the light. Returning fully to your breath when you're ready. Coming to the space of the third eye, the pineal gland, right behind the eyebrows, about 1.5 inches in. The master gland, so influential on the hormones. There's so much we don't know about this tiny gland, linked to clairvoyancy, clear seeing. Let your next inhale flood the pineal gland with light and hold. Returning to a full breath when you're ready. And next we travel to the crown of the head, these 12 inches above the head. So really very crucial in Egyptian teachings, in Tibetan teachings. It's the gateway between you and your highest consciousness. So next inhale, taking light, taking awareness to this space above the head, the crown of the head. Flooding it with light and holding with lungs full, Mula Bandha engaged. And release. And returning for 5 breaths, moving the whole way through the column of your spine. Light and breath, inhaling to the pelvis, exhaling to the crown. 1, inhaling to the pelvis, exhaling to the crown. 2, inhaling to the pelvis, exhaling to the crown. 3, inhaling to the pelvis, exhaling to the crown. 4, inhaling to the pelvis, exhaling to the crown. 5, letting the breath return to its natural place. Nothing forced. Come into your sense of hearing, tracing the sounds around you, in the space around you. How far away can you hear? And how close can you hear? Softening eyes beneath eyelids, softening corners of mouth. And bringing your hands to your heart center as you drop your forehead to the tips of your fingers. Calling to mind all that we are grateful for. And inviting that higher consciousness, the subtle realms of intelligence within us, to be heard, to be sensed, to be felt, and to guide our days. Namaste.